the parties to join, and then we can get started. So just a couple moments.
My sound is only at about 60. What do I do to raise it?
So on your laptop, there may be the little sound icon, like at the bottom right, there's the little like speaker. You see that? And you can click that.
Okay.
Turn it on. And then there's like a little movable bar that you can adjust the volume.
Okay, good.
And for those of you just joining, we're just waiting for the parties to connect, and then we can get started with today's pre-hearing conference.
But my screen just went blank.
Oh no. So you may have accidentally minimized the Zoom screen. So there may be a little icon at the bottom that says Zoom, and if you click that.
There it is. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Martinez.
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Trying to outlast the heat.
Isn't everybody?
Yeah. And we're just waiting for Mr. Heal's attorney to join. In case he's here, if you could change your name just to something that we can identify you with so we can add you as a panelist, that would be helpful. Just bear with us while we wait for him to join. Attorney Martinez, were you able to speak with Attorney Farrell?
Not this morning, but his paralegal represented that they were able to.
Okay, great. Yeah, actually, he just joins. We should be able to start momentarily.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Farrell.
It looks like he's still connecting.
Oh, hold on, there we go. Good morning, Judge. How are you? Nice to see you. Ms. Smith, good morning. Attorney Martinez. Judge, sorry I don't have a tie on this morning. I'm actually at a board meeting here, and I think Attorney Martinez and I had a productive conversation last week, but good morning. I'm sorry I'm late.
No, I understand that you were seeking a continuance because you're working to resolve this matter. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So I represent Mr. Heal. This is on regarding the underlying case, which has been in the press, is the untimely death of Sandra Birchmore. I represent Mr. Heal, who is in a very, very different posture than the other officers who are alleged to be involved in the case. Judge Davis in the Norfolk Superior Court had dismissed him from the wrongful death suit and made specific findings that he, in fact, was not on the same footing as the other defendants in particular. So when Attorney Martinez and I were discussing, and we've had several telephone communications, the net of that being, I think Mr. Heal is likely going to resolve the case, but he's certainly not going to agree to decertify or be in some database. And he would probably take a case on the merits to the commission. Sorry, there's like things flying around here. Namely, he doesn't have any interest. He's not working as a police officer. His commission or his certification and licensure expires naturally in a couple of days. So I think at the end of the day, the proposed agreement would simply be to establish that he's not going to renew or seek to renew and just let it naturally expire. But I have seen some of the other agreements that have entered or been worked out with the other related parties in the Birchmore matter that are, voluntary decertification issues. And that's not going to happen. And there's several reasons for that, Judge. And I think also—
Wait, let me stop you because you began speaking before Ms. Smith had an opportunity to officially start this hearing.
Sure.
So, Ms.
course.
Smith, do you want to state?
Jumping the gun is unfortunately my specialty, Judge. Sorry about that.
No problem. And just before we begin, your client, Mr. Heel, will he be joining?
No.
I'm assuming not. Okay, great. So we will officially get started. Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. The time is 9:35 a.m. and this is a pre-hearing conference, the matter of Joshua Heel before the Massachusetts Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission. We're convening remotely over Zoom, and this pre-hearing is open to the public and is being recorded. The Honorable Judith A. Cowan will be the presiding officer over today's pre-hearing conference. My name is Lizzie Smith, and I'm the hearings administrator for the Post Commission. And before we begin, I would just like to remind the parties to please refer to any alleged victims or minors involved with initials. And with that, this matter is now before Judge Cowan.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, good morning again. Let me ask you this. Based on what Mr. Farrell has said already, is there any possibility of a resolution without the respondent agreeing to decertification?
I think that given that his certification expires on July 1st, I think that we're going to be able to come to a proposed agreement that we can submit to the commission, but ultimately the commission will be the ones to determine whether or not the agreement is appropriate. But I do think the parties involved in this particular matter are generally on the same page, and I think we will have a proposed agreement in time for the July meeting.
His certification expires July 1st?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Farrell, is there anything you want to add?
Your Honor, the only thing I would say lastly is, and I just need to put this on the record because this is a public hearing. I've received emails from reporters at the Boston Globe where Post has been communicating directly with the press about, in particular, my client's case, the hearing, so on and so forth. I understand that this is a public hearing, but this has been a consistent problem for Mr. Heel throughout this case, both in the civil proceedings and now apparently with Post. This is an issue that's going to resolve, and the press is going to do what the press is going to do. But at the same time, by simply letting his notice or his license or certificates expire, certainly that's not and shouldn't be, and anybody that's listening to this tape, reading the transcript or following the proceedings should not and will not construe that as any admission of liability by my client whatsoever. After the rigmarole and the ringer that he's been put through, he has had no interest in subjecting himself to that scrutiny. He's had strangers showing up at the ex-wife's house where his children reside. He's had all kinds of problems keeping jobs because people report him out on social media when he's on, as the court so found in the Superior Court case, very, very, very different footing than any of the other individuals who are alleged to be involved in this case. So I simply point that out for the record because, frankly, and I'll say this bluntly, directly, and to the point, enough is enough. So he is going to, hopefully resolve this with the Post Commission. This issue will be resolved, and Attorney Martinez and I'm sure, can come to some form of agreement that's acceptable to everyone. Thank you.
Mr. Martinez, is there anything you want to add?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, we need a date. In case this matter is not resolved, we need to continue this to another date. Just a minute, I'll get my calendar.
Attorney Martinez, I think it's, when is the commission meets on the 17th, I think you said?
That's
Yes,
correct.
it's July 17th.
Okay. So any time after that, I guess would work, depending on when Judge Cowan's available.
Wednesday, July 23rd at 10. How's that?
That works for me, Your Honor.
That works for me as well.
Okay, we'll just call this a status conference. If the matter is not resolved, well, let me ask you this, Mr. Martinez, what is the reason you have not yet provided discovery? Is it because, well, go ahead.
There is a parallel matter right now that's currently in the middle of an adjudicatory hearing. It's just a matter of I was unable to prepare it in time. I need to have some time also to consider because there are protective orders in that open matter, and some of the materials here overlap. I do anticipate that the discovery will be provided well in advance of any future status conferences, though.
And Judge, I don't think, if I may, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think too that.
Well, you
we
did
might need to-
interrupt. You did interrupt, Mr. Farrell. Mr. Martinez, would you please finish?
That's all I had to offer, Your Honor.
Okay,
I was
Mr.
going to
Farrell.
join- I was just going to join Attorney Martinez and keep this really simple. That may not be necessary. We've had some productive conversations, cordial, and we may be able to resolve this. I think the issue that we both discussed was simply getting the proposed agreement before the commission so they could vote on it or whatever needs to occur. And we'll continue in those efforts. We've worked collaboratively before and we'll continue to do that.
Well, that's good to hear. Then I will expect, if the matter is not resolved, or if the commission fails to accept the proposed resolution, then I would expect to hear some, I would expect there to be some more informative discussion on the status conference on July 23rd at 10 o'clock, so that we can move it forward from there if there's no resolution before that time. But
Understood.
I wish you both well in resolving the matter.
Great.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Is there anything else?
No.
No.
Okay, hearing is concluded. Thank you both. Goodbye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Judge. Thank you,
Thank you.
Attorney Martinez. Thanks, Ms. Smith. Bye
Bye.
now.
Thank you all.